Hello fellow humans and welcome to this week's shop review. We start off right with the important section, and that is the tanks. Now, the M4190 is a tank that is pretty difficult to play and not really made for making creds, given the standard penetration is absolutely horrible. However, it does have nice HE rounds, which means if you are a advanced player, this thing can be pretty fun. It's fast, it has no armor whatsoever, and the gun is somewhat solid. You got 8 degrees of gun depression. So if you are a good player, this can somewhat make sense. However, mind you, this does not include 500,000 creds and includes collect them all containers instead, which is a downgrade. Then, this is a joke. For 22,500, selling the Object 268 version 4 is a bit of a joke, because this vehicle is put it in the shop for 17.5k and hope someone buys it, because some people think this thing is OP, but it isn't really. It's good when you point it like this. It's trash the second you point it like this, because these two plates are pretty weak and can be pinned by pretty much anything. So, in terms of armor, unless you're face-hugging someone, you don't really have any. So, that's not great. The gun is pretty solid, 690 alpha damage. The accuracy, though, is absolutely horrible at 0.41. And you only have 5 degrees of gun depression, which is really, really bad as well. In terms of mobility, it might sound really fast, that it is in World Tanks PC, but in Blitz it's more of a slug. So, to be honest, not a tank I would recommend. If you are into tank destroyers, then the next one is the better option. And that next one is the Badger. Not only is it better equipped, it is also cheaper, so the bundle as a whole is significantly better. It has 1,000 more DPM, has, well, less alpha damage, but significantly better accuracy, significantly better gun depression, and the same power to weight ratio, even though the top speed is obviously significantly lower. So the Badger is not only cheaper, but also better. Now, this vehicle is really a bad idea, so why would you spend 5,000 gold on a cheap tier 7 that was given away for free a very long time ago? I absolutely would not recommend that whatsoever. And these two, they're more of collector vehicles than actual useful premium tanks, because, I mean, this thing's solid, and so is the Cromwell. They're both good vehicles. However, if you buy premium tanks to, you know, use them for making credits, then this is not what you want to have. If you're collecting vehicles, this can be a pretty decent enough bundle, but don't take it too seriously. This thing is a meme. It's a good meme. 2k, whatever, might as well. Good. Not is these two. Don't buy them. Ignore them. I've talked about them in detail last week, but they're pretty trash. Don't buy them. And freshly squeezed, we've got the MX-30 and the Batchat Barask. Now, those two vehicles are somewhat interesting. The price is not really that great. The MX is one of the very few tier 9 premium tanks that does make sense to obtain. However, for its own price of 10k, I would not buy that. If it were 8.5k, that would be a pretty solid. Or if this bundle would be 10k, that would be great, but it isn't. So I wouldn't buy the MX on its own. So now we get to this bundle with the MX Pro and the Barask. Now, the Barask is pretty overrated. It's pretty hard to play because it has nothing except mobility and the autoloader. So we'll get into that later, though, in detail. These are gone by the time the video goes up, so that doesn't matter. And then we have this bundle, which is 7.5k for 3 vehicles, which is pretty excellent. Gotta say, now the Lorraine is kind of hard to play. The Chieftain is kind of hard to play. And the T20. 20 is fine-ish. So what you have here is, if you're a good player at this game and you already have your Chimeras, your T54E2s, this can be a great backup premium tank bundle to get if you are looking for more. And then, as I say every week, don't buy crates, no matter what form. Crates are always going to be bad. And with the resources, this time we have the credit rotation. Do not buy resources that include credits. The value of them is pretty damn bad. Something like a winner's kit right here is way better return than something like this that includes credits, because it's obviously a lot easier to get credits in-game than it is to get gold. So don't buy credits for real money. And in other news, the Big Boss Expedition is, yeah. So we go with the Barbecue, a vehicle that many people think is OP, but I don't know why. Now, the advantage of this tank is it is very fast and has a 2-shot autoload, which means if you know how to position this vehicle well, you can get pretty damn good results with it. However, obviously, it has no backup plan. The accuracy is garbage, the DPM is garbage, the armor is garbage, pretty much anything except the autoloader, and the mobility on this vehicle is bad. Now, it is a pretty damn good autoloader, though. It's only got 2 shots, which Two-shot autoloaders tend to be a bit annoying because if you only get one shot, now you have to reload the other one for a very long time, which is kind of annoying, but it does offer you a lot of opportunity because all you have to do then is shoot twice, scoot away, and redo it again, which is exactly what we're going to do here. The Scorpion has fired. Now he's going to be reloaded soon, but I'm just going to put that shot into him and not be like that T-49, which is something that you have to do. You have to be very careful with this vehicle, especially when you have a team like this Tiger 2 who is not interested in any form of victory. Let's talk about that later. So, anyway, now, firstly, the MX-30. It's a good tank, but the problem with the MX-30 is it's a tier 9. Why don't you just buy a tier 8 that makes better credits, or a tier 10 that does better damage? So, tier 9 premium tanks rarely make sense. The MX-30, though, is pretty solid, but you can get the same thing somewhat otherwise as well. So, there we go. Basically, if you play the M46 pattern, you have the same tank with trashier penetration, sort of, and better alpha damage. So there's no really... It doesn't fill a need for the vehicle, right? It's good, but you don't have to have it. This thing is kind of the same. You don't have to have it, and you have to be a pretty damn good player to get anything out of this vehicle, for the most part. Otherwise, you end up like that T-49, or that Tiger, for that matter. But now, the Ravioli's camping at the back. We know where the Charity is. I also sort of know where the WZ is. And now, the goal is to, obviously, not get shot. The STG is very dead, which is not good, because that guy can then push me. His sort of decent high alpha damage gun is also going to be kind of annoying. The Loewe as well, that is something we're going to have to deal with. But yeah, this is how... Alright! Well done, ISU. You're a hero. Beautiful. Beautiful. Bitch slapped all the way to Paris. Now, the penetration is something else that you don't want to really mess with on this tank, because it doesn't really have any, for the most part. So the penetration on this tank is pretty damn bad as well. So you kind of get the point, right? You have to be a good player to get something out of this. And that ISU is absolutely dishing out bombs right now. Igor, you're a hero. So, yeah. But if you can play this thing well, it can be extremely fun and also extremely rewarding. But mind you, that it doesn't play itself. It does need a lot of player input, a lot of player knowledge, because it is, on the face of it, pretty damn shit. And you have to do a lot to drag that performance of the mobility and of the autoloader out of it. It is not going to give it to you voluntarily. So, it's like a cat. It's cute, but it's going to be angry if you don't treat it well. So, ICU is doing all the work. Lovely. Beautiful. Now, can I recommend this vehicle in combination with the MX-30? If you are a good, experienced player and you already have your standard premium tanks, like a Chimera, like a T-42, like a Type 57, and you are looking for a fun challenge, then the Borask can be a very good option. But don't jump in head first, or you will be disappointed. Make sure that you've played something like an AMX 1390 or similar before, that you know what you're doing. So that said, thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one. Goodbye.